mine was working. So
I haven't got any slides.
oh, you haven't got any slides? Oh, perfect.
No. It's just me talking. Yeah. Okay.
That work. You see that?
Brilliant. Yeah. And how have you got us now live on YouTube then, Daniel? How have you made that link?
We're live on YouTube.
This is Daniel, Andrew, Naomi. Andrew, you might not have met Daniel, Naomi. I'm sure you have.
Okay. Hi, Daniel, wherever you are.
Daniel, go way back.
Hi. Way back, don't we?
Way back.
Way back to the start.
Did you send? Well, thanks for sending me the deets anyway, Naomi. I'm never going to forget that one. That was genius, absolute genius.
Oh my days, so much fun.
Yeah. So Daniel, how do you want to play this? Should we all go on to mute and let you kick it off, or are you going to just put everyone on mute?
I think everybody kind of gets automatically muted when they add in. So I'll kick off. I'm only going to do a short introduction. I'm going to do a little bit about some stuff we've got coming up at the end, but I'll just do a quick introduction, then I'll pass over to you, Richard.
Cool.
Yeah, I got to this after. Was it this after about lunchtime? I think it was. And I was like, oh yeah, that's today. Oh, that's fine. I have got all my slides from last time. But of course, it's all changed. I was like, oh no.
I had the same thing. I thought, ground this in, take that out, add that in. It's
I suddenly realised that all the information I needed, I didn't have. I needed to get them from colleagues. And I was like, please be in, please don't be on holiday.
Love it. I'm presuming they were all in.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm not making anything up, I promise.
So what we'll probably do is give it a couple of minutes, just a couple of minutes past the hour, to let everybody filter in.
Have you had a good day today, Daniel? All right.
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a very quick day, but it's been a good day. I'm looking forward to this. So, yeah.
That'll be good. It'll be good. I do have a stopwatch to keep myself on time.
That's a good idea.
I put it on because we did an event, the last one we did, and it was really, really good. But the people had 20 minutes, spoke for nearly half an hour, and I'm trying to kind of wrap it off because it just eats into the other person's time, just going over. So I thought I'll keep reasonably close to time. It was funny afterwards. He said to me, "said we know it is because often we struggle to keep our speakers on time," and it's like,
yeah.
So I know what I'm doing. Is your Birmingham contact back now, Andrew? Your Birmingham-based guy,
Damon. Yeah. He's back. Was on holiday till earlier this week, but is now back in the office and working away. I was chatting with him just before this call. Yeah, I should get you to talk to him directly.
Yeah,
he's talking at present to a couple of mates of yours who you introduced a while ago.
Cool. Yeah, no, it'd be good. I'll make a direct link with him. That'd be really good.
Okay.
Give it one more minute.
Right, I'm going to mute myself until you
Sure. So those of you who just joined, we'll just be starting in a moment. Just going to carry on letting people filter in. Maybe if I Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a start, guys, and then, as I said, we can let people keep filtering through. I just need to make sure everything's correctly on. There we go. So, welcome everybody to today's session. My name is Daniel Evans. I'm the Chief Executive at Birmingham Enterprise Community here in AlphaWorks. I'll be telling you a little bit more about what we do and some of the things we've got coming up later. I know you're all very keen to hear about the different opportunities that we're here to present today. So I'm not going to take too much of your time now, and I'm going to pass straight over to Richard to kick us off. Richard.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm just going to try sharing my screen. Let's see if we can get this working. Right, is that good for everybody? That should just be my main slide, yeah?
All good.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. Well, good evening. I hope this finds you well. This is definitely the best way to listen to any talk I do, is where you can control the volume. This is going to be loud and lively, but I want to talk to you today about little known grants and some funded support, and a little bit about the technology supply chain. So did you know there are tens of millions of pounds available for West Midlands manufacturing, engineering, technology and services firms? There is huge amounts of cash out there, huge amounts, and it comes in often match funded grants. So you can get grants for help you with capital expenditure, develop new products, new services, new internal processes, and to help you with your marketing as well. And there's plenty of fully funded support from universities and others to help you to become more efficient, more competitive and more profitable. There is lots and lots of help, but unfortunately, nobody actually knows where it is. It's really well hidden, and it's hidden in various places, and some universities have it, sometimes it's LEPs, sometimes it's other things. A good example is one project we're involved with, the Big Data Corridor. They had, that was £2.8 million project run by Birmingham City Council. In all the time I was involved with that, I spoke to about 1,000 people, and only 2 people had actually heard of it before I mentioned it to them. So this is the thing. A lot of this is hidden. So what do we do? What can we do for a solution? So we came up with a solution that goes back to something from the 70s and something a bit more recent. And here it is. Perfect. Okay, so that was a little bit of The Chain by Fleetwood Mac from the 1970s album Rumours. You might recognise it as BBC One Formula One's background track, and it was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, this stellar soundtrack from that. So hopefully you'll have heard that somewhere before, but we love that song, and we think that really sums up what we're trying to do with the technology supply chain. We're trying to piece together all of these component parts for you so you can find the things that you want. And a lot of things that we're doing at the moment is helping companies to roadmap the funding, the grants and the fully funded support so they can go from where they are now to where they want to be. Because what we found is often you'll find one piece of the puzzle, but then you don't know where the next one is. So you might find one grant, perfect, but then you're looking, you need some more money, you don't know where to go next. Or you find a funded project at university, which is perfect, but then that ends and you wonder where to go next. So this is what we're trying to do, is link together everything for you. We're focused on manufacturing, engineering and tech firms and professional service providers. So I wanted to share with you today some of those funds and pots you can find that I hope you find useful. This first one is, these ones are all done by Coventry University, and this is a proof of concept. And this is perfect if you've got an idea that you want to give a try to. So if you're developing an app, this is really good. If you've got a new physical product you want to design, this is perfect as well. So you get up to 40% match funding, and this is on projects up to £25,000. And the maximum grant you can get on that 40% is £10,000, with the average amount being £4,000. So in other words, most people apply, put in for a 10 grand project, get £4,000 back. What I can tell you for this is, if you want to do over £20,000, you have to do a full tender, but up to £20,000, what you have to do is get three people to bid for the work for you. That's what you need to do. With all of this money that I'm talking about now, none of it is to be used for internal costs. So in other words, you have to find somebody externally to spend it with, but usually you'll have somebody helping you with the things listed there. So that can cover a lot of their costs. So it can be used for intellectual property, can be used for market research. You can use it prototype development and other feasibility concepts. A really good one is if you're developing a digital product, this is perfect for that first steps where you might be doing a bit of doing some paper prototyping, or you need to engage your market, or you need to find out more what people want. This is really good for that type of thing. And by the way, if you want to get on any of these, if you go to technologysupplychain.co.uk/grants and you fill in your details and let me know. Next one is innovation networks. This again is, once you've done your proof of concept, this might be the next place for you to go. So here you can get 44% match funding on spends of between £5,000 and £22,000. So if you go for the max, though, you can get 12 grand back. So again, this has to be spent with somebody external from you, but it's a great opportunity if you're looking for materials, if you're looking to do prototyping. This again covers app development, so you can use the proof of concept bit and then use this to move you forward again. It can be used for testing. Very great project and really useful. And again, what I really like about these ones is you don't have to create a job. A lot of the projects out there, and there is one I'll mention at the end that I haven't included in the slides, but a lot of the projects where you get a sizable amount of money will want you to create a job. None of these ones include job creation. And the third one I wanted to let you know about, again, if you're into digital stuff, is Focus Digital. So this is, if you're looking to grow using digital technology, this is great because again, you can get grants to help you implement digital products and services. In this case, even if you're not developing your own, this can help you buy a CRM system, a piece of software. It can help you with lots of things. There's also workshops, webinars, and one-to-one digital support. This project's a little bit different in the fact it's a bit of mix and match. So you decide what you want help with, and then they'll help you with that. So you might say, I want the grants, or you might say, I want some direct support. Whatever it might be, this is a really good opportunity for you to kind of like access that digital support. So if you want any further information on any of them, please go to that website address below or drop me an email at the end and I can give you more information. But if you go there, that will let you put your details in and I can introduce you to the relevant people. These are all the types of grants that aren't very well known because they're often in smaller areas. So they all cover the GBS LEP and they all cover Coventry and Warwickshire. I think some of them are a little bit different if you're in the Black Country, but please drop me a line. The next one I wanted to let you know about is one of the many projects we're involved with universities. So this is a great one run by Aston University. So on this one, you don't get any money, but it doesn't cost you anything. So this is completely free support. What happens at the end of it is you sign to say you've had so much support, and that goes to what they call de minimis. And if you've not come across this concept before, de minimis is the maximum amount a company can get in grant funding and support. It is actually €200,000, which is about £180,000, and you can have that over 3 years. That's quite a first size of money you can get. I should point out here, all of these projects are for SMEs, and by SME, it means a company that has less than 249 employees and a turnover of less than 40 million. So it doesn't matter if you're brand new you're a one-man band, or you're a sole trader, just as long as you're under those thresholds. We usually find people who think they're too small, they're too new, or they think they're too big and they're not. So these all cover all of these projects. So with this one, this is helping businesses to innovate by adapting new technologies. This could be artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, 5G, and big data. So if you've got interest in any, or you need help in any of those areas, this is a really good project for you. What they'll do is Aston will set up a meeting with their project. You can have a chat with them, and this will really help you move your thing forward. What we found with Aston is, well, with all these projects, you can get 12 hours support. And then if you like what you get 12 hours, you can then move on to 8 to 10 days support. And once you're done with that, then you can come and ask us to see where else we can put you. So there's lots of things you can get, lots of help. And if you want to go for that one, please go to enabling. This final one I want you to let you know about is a virtual work placement. And this is a great opportunity where you can take on a college student and get paid £500 to give them a virtual work placement. This is excellent. If you want help with diary management, with general administration, if you want help with social media or IT, could be such as website updates, then this is really good. The student will work for you. They'll mainly work from home. The scheme does ask that you ask them into the office occasionally, just to get some experience of working in an office. But it's a great opportunity for you to help them and them to do something for you and to get paid for doing that. So you don't need to pay them. You do need to pay them travel and expenses, but you don't need to pay them a wage. You select your students you want from a range of CVs. You can have up to 10 students. We'd suggest that probably 1 or 2, or if there's a big team, you maybe 3 or 4, but you can have up to 10 students. They're going to work with you for 315 hours, which seems an odd number of hours, which equates to about 45 days. But the days and hours they work for you, you work them out, which suits you and your business and suits them. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I can send you more details on this, but I can let you know that applications close on the 10th of September. So you need to get in fast. So I've put my email there. So if you're interested, please drop me a line and I will send you the application form and further details. People are placed from October, students are going back now. What happens is the college pick them based on their technical expertise and the qualification they're doing, and then they'll send you out some CVs, get to pick who you want, and then an industrial work placement officer will come with you, come and visit you on the first day with the student, just to make sure that there's a good link between you. This is a great one. This is for any business in the West Midlands. Great opportunity again. There's another one. I've not got a slide for this, but I will mention it. The Business to Grow program, that's run by Birmingham City Council. And that's when you've got to be at least 6 months old, your business. And this is where you're looking to have at least 20 grand investment. And you can spend 20 grand and you get 10 grand back, or you can spend 60 grand and get 30 grand back. And that can be used for marketing. It can be used for app development. It can be used to relocate your office. It can be used for lots of things. Definitely worth having a look at. And the one thing we do say to everybody with these is you've got to put in some money yourself as well. So you'd have to spend 20 grand and then you claim the money back. It takes about a month to come back. I've had quite a few people in the past ask me to say, can we match a grant with a grant? Unfortunately, you can't. I think the whole idea there is you're actually putting some of your own money in, or some of your business's money to generate other things. So that's another thing. Again, if you sign up, I can let you know about all of these. So if you're wondering if you want to join the technology supply chain or not, 3 great reasons to join us. We help move your business forward using the grants and funding support available. We don't ask for membership fees. We are completely free. We don't charge you anything. We make our money through consultancy fees when we work with universities and their projects, through our very nice patrons who are listed at the end again, and through grants. And we get grants to help young people find work in manufacturing, engineering, tech. And then finally, we're a community interest company. So we're not in it for the money. We do it for the love. We're not for profit, and we're about as close as you can get to a charity. So if you're interested in joining, very easy to do. You go to www.technologysupplychain.co.uk and just fill in your business details. We'll ask you to confirm that you're happy to join us, and then you'll get our weekly newsletter, which lets you know what's going on. What we do with our members is we've got over 650 members. So we have a weekly newsletter goes out, and you get invited to a technology supply chain briefing, which is always the last Tuesday of the month, 4 till 5:30, which is when we get everybody together for a session quite like this one, actually, where we have a number of speakers, but we also give you the opportunity to network at the end, to go out to Zoom rooms and to meet other people, because we really want to be a community where we support each other and we get good stuff for everybody out there. So I would like to thank you for your time. I think I'm just under my 15 minutes. So I'm Richard Fallon, the marketing engineer, and that's my email, richard@technologysupplychain.co.uk. There's my phone number and the address of the website if you want to find out more details. And I think, are there any questions? I think there probably are in the box, Daniel.
Yes, there is. So I will start with a question for Julie. Are all these grants just open to West Midlands businesses?
Yes. So basically, they always go by a LEP area. So you've got the Birmingham Solihull LEP, the Coventry and Warwickshire LEP, the Marches, the Black Country, and Staffs and Stoke. So these are only West Midlands, and in some cases, they'll only be like that GBS, Coventry and Warwickshire, and Black Country LEP.
So for anybody outside those areas, where do you recommend them looking for these kind of opportunities? Their own LEP?
Definitely their own LEP, and if they look on Swoop, and no doubt Andrew mentioned this later on, if you look on Swoop, that will give you UK-wide grants as well. But basically, the best place to start is your local LEP and sometimes your universities. So a couple of those grants are offered by Coventry University.
Awesome. Next question is for the virtual placements, what happens if you don't have an office?
Okay, so they can work for you virtually, but it would be good if you either kind of like I do, I've got an office that I go into every now and then. I've got a business lounge I use. So you'd need to have somewhere to take them. All it is they've asked people to supply that. So the college students gets experience of working in an office environment. So it would be good if you could at least have a business lounge. Maybe you could take them to, maybe you can even take them for a coffee if that's where you use your office. But they want them to get some experience of doing that. Awesome.
Next question is it £500 per student, and are there any rules about who can hire?
It is £500 per student, yeah. Are there any rules about who can hire? Go on, Naomi. I'm not sure what you mean by that one.
I mean, like, do you have to be a business? Can you just be self-employed? Does your business have to be registered to the West Midlands, that kind of thing?
Okay, so you've got to be based in the West Midlands, but you can be a sole trader, you can be a CIC, profit-making company, you can be a charity as well. So all of them, all it is you actually be in the West Midlands, because you are going to ask the student in at some point. So obviously they can't travel that far.
Awesome. Steve's asked, although Naomi's partially answered him, does West Midlands go down to the Cotswold? Is there similar services in Gloucestershire?
The West Midlands doesn't go that far south. It goes Coventry and Warwickshire, and that's about as south as it gets. You will find that your local LEP has different grants and all of that. What we found for example, in the West Midlands, Birmingham and Coventry have got quite a lot of grants. If you look at the Black Country, they don't have as many grants, but they have a lot more funded support. It's always up to your local LEP to decide what to offer, how to spend that money.
Okay. And then I think we've got, thank you for Naomi for putting those details in there. There's a couple of questions for people watching on YouTube as well. First of these are, can you join the technology supply chain if you're not based in the West Midlands?
Yes. Ideally, we would like to expand across the UK, but the West Midlands is a big enough patch to start with. So we started there. But as I said, with Swoop, there are grants available in the rest of the UK. And there are some really nice projects that we've got which span some of the boundaries as well.
And the next question on here, are these offers only open to technology/software startups?
No, so you can be manufacturing, engineering, tech, or services. So all of these can be used by any of them. I highlighted the tech one just because a lot of those grants fit in quite nicely. So say you're a manufacturer and you're looking to develop a new product, that could fit in there well. Proof of concept as well. You could well be looking to develop an app for your office or a way of streamlining your own processes. And again, you can get money for that. I should have said that it's all for new products, new services, or new internal processes. And often that's the thing we see most is people wanting help with a new IT system or a new supply chain management tool.
And then the final question, what is the definition of services?
Okay, so the one we've gone for here is they're always B2B, business to business. So it could be anything provided it's not business to consumer. I don't know why it is the EU funding doesn't really support business to consumer. So if you're doing cleaning people's homes, that won't count. If you're cleaning their offices, that would obviously, being an accountant, being a marketing person, being a consultant of any type, doing IT, anything where you're selling directly to businesses would count as a service.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Richard. And then just to remind everyone, if they want to sign up to any of these grants or find out further information, this is where they go. Yeah, the details currently up.
Yeah, and if you go to that technologysupplychain.co.uk/grants, if you go there, you can actually indicate which of those three that I kind of hit on. There's another one for the enabling one, and yeah, just drop me a line about the Business to Grow program. I can send you the details.
Awesome. There's a couple of other questions to come in, but I think we'll pick these up again on the next one because I'm conscious that we keep moving through. There's some questions also about national opportunities, but obviously we're moving through to the next speaker, which I think is going to be quite applicable.
No problem. I will answer them all in the chat box. But thank you very much for your time, guys. Great to see you.
Cool.
I'm going to stop sharing now.
Thank you. And I will pass straight over to Andrew. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Hi. What I'm going to try and do is just give you a quick overview as to what Swoop is, and then a summary of all sorts of different things that are happening in the grants world. And then hopefully that will open up you to sort of asking questions that might well relate to your businesses. In case you haven't heard of Swoop, we're 4 years old, about 70 people in the company. It is a under one roof integrated system that costs nothing to register on, that allows clients you to look at equity, grant, debt, and savings. So you can start a single journey or multiple journeys. And when you've started that, you're going to get an expert who'll be helping you on to the next stage. The system would show you matches based on your criteria, what you've entered, the age of the company, the sector that you're in, the turnover, et cetera, et cetera. And we have over 1,000 different funding partners within the system. And currently we're working with, I think the last figure I saw was 41,000 SMEs in the UK. So we've got a good experience of knowing how to assist and how to help. The magic world of grants, there are, I suppose you could put down, there are two different sorts of grants. The first sort of grant is a business growth grant that's sometimes also called a capital intensive grant. And that's aimed at giving money for capital items, operational costs, and generally when they get launched or announced, you're going to have to put somewhere between 20 and 40% of the money in yourself, and the balance is provided by the provider. The other side, and this is something that you might well have heard of, is the world of R&D grants, which tend to be, if you're doing something that is innovative, that is pushing boundaries, that is creating something new, and it's often going to be in a sector that the government's looking to change direction in the UK. So it could be something like AI, yeah, where the government is looking to increase what we do in that sector. It could be social mobility, yeah. The R&D figures in 2018, the total amount that was bunged into the economy, and that's not a technical phrase, bunged in, was £37 million. That sounds a large figure, and it is a large figure. I wouldn't mind that as my paycheck. but the amount that's coming in has fallen. It's fallen from 2% in the UK down to 1%, 1.7%. If you compare that with Germany, where the figure is 3%, where 3% is going to, money being spent to move Germany forwards, there's a big old gap. The government has a stated intention of getting that figure to 2.7% by 2027. So if you're doing anything innovative, or if you're out there looking for grants, it makes sense to look and to know that it's being addressed and there potentially will be more money along the way. So if you look now and you don't see anything, don't panic. It might be 6 months' time, the grant might come up that might suit your business perfectly. The R&D grants, there's two sorts to that. There are what are called innovate grants and the grants that come from Europe. The European grant is not predominantly. There are two types. One that's called Horizon 2020, and the other one's called Eureka that I'll come back to. The Horizon 2021, that finishes in December of this year. And for Europeans, it will be replaced by Horizon Europe. A very clever name. Okay. What we don't know yet, because of the fantastic show that our government showed us with planning how to do the Brexit bit, is what we don't know what will happen afterwards. So we don't know whether British businesses are going to be able to take advantage of Enterprise Europe. What we have had to contra that is we've had very, very, very strong indications that if British businesses aren't able to get access to the replacement of Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, there will be British government solutions instead that you're going to be able to use. Okay. We often get asked at what stage somebody should look for a grant. The answer to that one is a very simple one, well in advance. So if you're doing anything where it's either a new project that you're involved in, or you're in a sector that your kind of antennae goes, I wonder if there's anything there. Speak to Richard to see what you can get locally, or go onto the Swoop site. And the Swoop site, if you put down that you're looking for a grant, the system will flag what's available for you now. Okay. When it's flagged it, and that flagging will be done by the sector that you're in. So if your SIP code come from Companies House has picked up that you're in, let's say, hospitality, but you're doing something that's pretty innovative to do with, I don't know, tracking room usage or reducing waste when people wash their towels or whatever it is, there'll be other boxes that you can tick. So tick as many boxes as you can. If somebody has a different trading address from the registered address, tick that. The matches that will be shown up. It's just a theoretical. What somebody then needs is to know what it is you're doing. So ideally to see your business plan, or to see the summary of the project that you're working with. That then gets reviewed by an expert who's looking at stuff all day long. And they would look at it and go, that smells good. Or do you know what? There's no chance in the world of that. And sometimes to hear that there's nothing means you're not going to push your brain to look at it again. But if there is something, they then talk to you, and their job is to jiggle around what you're doing to try and see if there really is a potential for a grant. And in case anyone was asking, that covers grants from the LEPs, plus the capital intensive ones, plus the innovation grants. So it covers the field. They would then turn around and say, do you know what, there's something there, let's work with you with the application. Or they'd say, you're not going to get it now, but once you've reached such and such a milestone, come back to us. Or they're going to be saying, there is nothing available for your type of business now. We're going to track you. And when something pops up, you then get notified. Okay. I got a call a month ago of somebody saying, can I have a grant to open an estate agents in the Cotswolds, which is outside the West Midlands region? We went back to them and said, on what basis do you think that you want to open an estate agent? You're going to get a grant. There was no money for opening an estate agents. amongst the key areas, AI and data, things that look at our aging society, anything that's to do with clean growth, and the future of mobility. And that mobility includes social mobility. That's one of the main emphases behind that. Again, I'm rushing through loads of stuff. Yeah. Within the world of innovation grants, there are smart grants. Smart grants, if you're doing anything that is game changing or disrupts the norm. Over £1 billion was given out overall in innovation grants in 2018, 2019. The innovation grants, 63% of the money that was allocated with innovation grants went to SMEs. I looked in advance of this to see which regions got the most money, and you'll be pleased to know that the West Midlands was the 3rd largest recipient of innovation grants the last time a summary was done. And in case it tickles anyone's fancy, the 7th largest was the East Midlands. So if you're based in the West Midlands, based in the East Midlands, you might want to think of relocating your business. The average amount that was given out was £197,000 for a project. I've mentioned about Horizon 2020. One of the things that will continue from Europe is a grant that's called the Eureka grant. And that is for global game-changing businesses. So if you're really into something that's pretty special and it has a global impact, we can also take you to see if we can get you Eureka money. The bit that kind of hangs with grants is the world of R&D claims. I would guess that the majority of you know about making R&D claims. Sometimes there's a misapprehension that you can't have a grant and make an R&D claim. You can do. The number of companies that are currently making R&D claims is rising every year. It's now up to 15,000. In our opinion, if somebody's making looking at making a claim for an R&D grant, it probably makes sense to either use a specialist accountant who knows what they're talking about, or one of the specialist brokers that are out there. But be warned, if you're talking to a specialist broker, the very small print that's written in big letters that you should look at is what's the fee that they're charging for their service. There are people who charge a hell of a lot of money for making pretty basic claims. So if your claim is pretty straightforward, you shouldn't need to spend a load of money. What we've also seen is we've seen an increase in people who have made R&D claims and are getting really pissed off. Again, that's a technical phrase, with how long it takes for HMRC to send money out. So we have people who will do loans against R&D claims. The rates for that are pretty attractive for the dead simple reason that the money is being lent against the HMRC paying out. Okay, so a couple of other areas that you can look for grants: clean tech, agri-tech, health, life sciences, education, manufacturing, pharma, aerospace, motor vehicles, software. The benefits of looking at grants: no debt, no equity dilution. You're going to get support from the grant organization and who they get you to work with, which will make your life easier. And you get verification, so that can help your business look better. And if you're getting grant money, in our experience, that can also dramatically help your ability to get equity. It makes an equity investor feel more comfortable. So I've covered where they are: national, international, and regional. I've said very little about the LEPs. The LEP, if somebody comes onto our system and it's a small LEP grant, we just direct them directly to the LEP because we can't really add value. But if the LEP comes and says, we're going to give you some money, but you need to do a bit of cash yourself, we can help with that. I'm going to finish off with a very small bit of comparison with smart and specific. So if it's somebody's looking for a smart grant, the smart grants get loaded onto the system at predictable timescales. They're far more competitive to get the money, and there is a danger that the person who's doing the assessing would understand less about your business. A specific grant is one that, let's say, gets announced for people who make pens, okay, as if, right? You're likely to have less competition. The assessor is more likely to be a pen specialist, yeah. But they're all on a more sporadic basis, okay? The final bit is that we strongly believe that there will be an increase in regional grants, regional growth grants, as a way of getting the world out of COVID. And they will often be ones that are creating employment, and they'll be in areas where there's a need to stimulate the economy. I've talked for 15 minutes, I've rattled through it. I'm going to send Daniel a document that he can send out to everyone, and I'll bung my email on the system as well, so anyone can talk to me directly. I'm now ready for any questions. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Andrew. So the first question comes from Naomi, who says, I should know this, but is Swoop free?
Yes, there is no cost to use our service. A slightly longer answer, how on earth do we operate then? If we get somebody a grant, the grant people that we work with, they charge a success fee and we get paid out of that. If somebody's using us for equity, we get a success fee for that. If somebody's using us for debt, we get paid by providers. And on the grant side, the success fee that we get, the people that we work with will only take it on if they are as confident as they can be about the end result. Yeah. Stop your buddy alarm going. Okay. They can see the result and they know it's going to be, they're adding value. So if somebody's going to get 30 grand from the local LEP, there's no point talking to our grant partners. Just go ahead and do it. And we're helping to support the business. That was a longer answer and I keep quiet again. Next question, please.
Awesome. Next question from Steve. Do you know any companies who will write funding bids for free?
Yup. We don't deal with any because we tend to find the ones that do the funding bids for free will charge a far larger success fee at the end of it. If somebody's, let's say somebody's already started, let's say somebody's already applied for an innovate grant, yeah, and they got a score of 74, and so they haven't got any money. If they were talking to our people, yeah, then the charge for making the application is significantly reduced because all they're doing is playing around with an application that's already been done and jigging it to change it. In our experience, to pay for a professional who knows what they're doing to help you with their application is a game changer in terms of getting the money or not getting the money. Yeah, but if you want to do it yourself, that's fantastic. But the chance is significantly increased by using somebody who knows what they're talking about. And the people that we work with don't make a profit out of writing an application. They're doing that at cost. It just doesn't suit their business model.
Lovely. Thank you for that. And thank you, Richard, as well, for adding some thoughts onto the chat as well. Next question, regarding clean growth, social mobility, aging society, does this need to be a product or service that is developed?
Developed as in there needs to be a formed company, there needs to be people in the company. And I'm not certain about the rest of where somebody's going with this, but if somebody again went on to the system and you think you're at an early stage, that would be reviewed by the people that we work with. And they might say, yeah, you are onto something. You're not going to get anything now, but come back when you've done this, this, and this. Hopefully that answers the question. Okay,
so they've clarified here. Do they see it? I mean, does it need to be a product or a service? I think that's confused me even more as well. Do you want to explain that a little bit more, Hannah?
Yeah. Hi. So what I mean is does it need to be a product, or does it need to be a service, or can it be something that's both, or one or the other? Is it specifically a product?
I would make an assumption that if what you're doing is good enough, it can be either. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it could be, it's logical that it could be either a product or some sort of a service. It'd be, yeah.
Okay. So the next question, do you also offer pre-grant help and support? Do you assign an advisor who can help in planning things out?
Simple answer, yes. So let's say it's an early stage company that registers with us. We'd be able to look at everything from assisting with their pitch deck, through to are they looking for any startup loans, through to what could be done on the grant side. The grant, I think I've answered the grant bit. Yeah, if somebody's looking now, they can get their grant reviewed. They can get their business reviewed for free now. So yeah, yes. Hi Romeo, I recognise you from previous talks with Richard. How you doing?
And then just jumping across to a question that we've got on YouTube. We've got somebody who's currently working in the South Americas, but is partnered up with a UK partner to do a project around ecological packaging, manufacturing ecologically friendly packaging. Are there grants like the Eureka grants that they can access, even though they're not a UK business, but partnered with someone in the UK?
It would be the UK business that would make the application. Yeah, and somebody would look at it and go, yeah, how much of the South American business is that? How much of a UK business is it?
Fantastic. I think that's all the questions that we have for you.
Great. I'm going to send my email and I'll get you a document you can send out to everyone later on.
Sure, and I'll be happy to send that out. Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Actually, I might try and do it now while we're talking. Great, brilliant.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Naomi, the floor is
Hello.
yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Daniel, and everyone for inviting me along. I'm going to share my screen.
Yep.
Which looks like it's disappeared. Hang on a second.
Let's try that. Does that work?
I don't know why. Is it gone? Sorry.
That's okay.
There it is. So, good afternoon. I suppose it's evening now, isn't it? It's that kind of, we call it witching hour in my house. It's not quite afternoon or evening, but it's a tough one. So hello, and I'm Naomi Nash, and I'm going to talk to you about TechNation. Slightly different topic of conversation, as we aren't a grants giving, also kind of supporting organisation, but we do help digital tech businesses across the whole of the UK. And we've got some great stuff that I want to share with you. So just a quick kind of introduction to myself. So I'm the Midlands Entrepreneur Engagement Manager, or EAM for short, and I've been working at TechNation now since January 2019. It started, feels like a lifetime ago, if that's a good or bad thing. And prior to that, I spent about 5 years working and helping kind of tech startups, tech and digital startups at the Innovation Birmingham campus and their early stage incubator. I just forget how to do this. There we go. So what is TechNation? TechNation is the growth platform for tech companies and leaders. We provide coaching, content, and community. We've been going for about 10 years, so since 2010, and we've helped nearly 2,000 companies, including some of those household names that you can see there. So one of our kind of unique selling points, if you will, is this national network of support. So there's me here in the Midlands, and then there's 10 others of me all around the UK in the different regions. And we all work very closely together, even though we're so far apart. I think we've actually got closer during COVID, which has been quite interesting. And our job, kind of our day-to-day job as an EAM, it's threefold really. So the first role and foremost is to find all of the amazing tech companies in our region. So not just in the big cities such as Birmingham, Nottingham, but you know, the ones that are hidden away in South Staffordshire or something like that. And then to kind of bring them into the community, signposting them to some of these people like Richard and Andrew there, and all the kind of other things that are happening in the region, and making those introductions to help them with their network and their business. So this kind of requires us to know everything and everyone in the tech ecosystem, which is a never-ending journey. I miss stuff all the time, but you know, trying as best as I can. I kind of refer to myself sometimes as a personified LinkedIn. And I know my colleague up in Leeds, she calls herself the tech gossip because she's just finding out what everyone's doing and telling everybody. The kind of second point of what we do is to collect, when we're speaking to these companies and to the ecosystems that support them, is really listening to what's missing in the way of support and what is needed within the region or within specific cities themselves. And then we feed that back to government. We're a government funded body, about 80% government funded. The rest comes from corporate sponsorship. And we're kind of their eyes and ears on the ground as to what's happening in the tech startup world. And thirdly is to promote the offerings of Tech Nation as far and as wide as we can. Tech Nation started out in London. It's still known, unfortunately, as a very London-centric company, but it's not, as you can see there, it's completely national. And it's our job to kind of make that happen and make sure that these people in South Staffordshire or wherever have got the same opportunities as those who are within the big cities. So what are those offerings? We have a number of growth programs, which are kind of our bread and butter, I suppose. I'm going to speak about those a little bit more in a minute. We have a digital business academy, which is online. It's open to anybody, it's free to use, and it's just kind of 15 minutes little learning bite-sized pieces of information that you can kind of start learning about business from kind of the earliest stage. I've got an idea, what do I do, who's the best people to speak to, all the way up to kind of like, how do I raise my Series A, what things do I need to know. We've got about 90 or so little bite-sized things on there, so there's something for everybody. It's not like you have to start and then you can't stop until you've got to the end of 90. You can pick and choose whichever ones you want to do whenever you want. We have a visa scheme for exceptional talent, bringing in the best talent from across the globe to the UK. And we also work with big data and insight companies to do many reports and campaigns. Actually, one came out today called Unlocking Global Tech, and it's all about how to expand your business outside of the UK. So that's available on our website. It just came out today. I haven't even had a chance to check it out yet, so I'm going to do that. This slide kind of shows a typical or an ideal journey through the Tech Nation kind of plethora of support as a tech founder. We don't have any resource for the very early stage startups. And this is really because there are so many amazing initiatives, such as Birmingham Enterprise Community, pay me later, Danielle, and loads of other incubators, and NatWest and Barclays, and loads of great stuff to really help people with that entrepreneurial spirit and those great ideas to identify their markets, solidify their ideas, begin creating and testing their MVPs, and all that is great. Why would we want to try and step on those toes when they're doing it? So we kind of come in after that. That's what you come to us after you've kind of got that support and you're on your way to scale. So we have 3 growth programs opening for applications in a couple of weeks, on the 15th of September. These are Rising Stars, UPSCALE and Future 50. I'm just going to go into those in a little bit. I think this might be like the first time anyone's talking about this publicly, so that's quite exciting. So Rising Stars is Tech Nation's competition for innovative early stage scale-ups, and it's designed to showcase and raise the profile of the best and most exciting seed to Series A startups from all across the UK. This is in its 3rd year. This is the 3rd time that this competition is happening. You can see there, these are the Midlands companies that have been the regional winners, and actually shopper.com and Tended both actually won one of the winners titles. Shopper last year, Tended the year before. It's great to see Midlands companies doing so well. This year we're actually going to be upping the number of regional finalists. So we have had 3 regional finalists in the previous years. This year we're going to have 5 regional finalists per year who'll all go through to the semi-final. So this is where we're really, you know, even if we get 1,000 applications from London, they'll have 5 regional. If we have 5 coming from the Midlands, we'll have 5. So it makes it completely fair across the UK to really showcase what's happening. The criteria is on the screen. I can send this deck out. I'll send it to you, Dan, and you can send this out, that's fine. But basically, a company that's 1 to 3 years old, or if you are a bit older than that, but you maybe didn't really do anything for the first couple of years, or you've pivoted, or you're bringing a brand new kind of arm to it, then that's kind of, can kind of do that as well. You're kind of in your seed, so you've kind of passed your family and friends round, maybe you're at your seed round looking for your Series A, or if you're bootstrapped under 1.5 million in annual revenue. But you do need to be having 1 active client or pilot. So you don't need to be revenue generating, but this is a tough competition. So I always work, if anybody's interested in applying to any of these programs, please have a chat with me and we can go through your business properly and make sure that you are the right fit for the programs. Just say that Rising Stars is not open to consultancies or agencies. That goes for all of our programs. Secondly is UPSCALE, and UPSCALE is a 6-month growth program, usually in person, but we are trying to do everything online for the foreseeable future at the moment, as to avoid disappointment. And it's to help fast growth tech businesses scale faster together. So it's based on values of the cohort that come together, values of honesty, intimacy and trust. It's established. This is going into their 6th year of this particular program, and it's created to reflect the scaling journey that customers go through. We've had only 3 Midlands companies, those on this fertility focus, Echo and VoxPopMe, beyond UPSCALE. We've got quite a lot. I've got quite a lot of companies I'm hoping to apply this year, so fingers crossed. So this is for those companies that have already raised their Series A. And when we say Series A, we're looking at about the 3 million mark, because Series A means different things to different people. But if you're in London, Series A is usually a bit more, so it's around about the 5 million. Or again, if you're revenue focused and you haven't raised any money, generating, so post the Rising Star stage, so 1.5 million to 5 million in revenues. And I spoke to the UPSCALE team today about the growth rate criteria, and they said they were still talking to some people about this and the judges. So, but it will probably be about 100% year-on-year growth. I think last year it was 20% month on month, but I don't know if that works out as the same, or I don't know. But by the 15th of September, we'll have it all figured out. But it's for fast growth, basically, fast growth businesses. Finally, Future 50, which is our oldest program. So this is the 9th year we're going into Future 50. And this is not necessarily a program as it is a kind of membership site type thing. I mean, it's all free and all that kind of stuff, and you still have to apply. But you're on it for 2 years. There's usually 25 companies that join each year and 25 graduate each year. Therefore, there's always 50 companies on the program. However, saying that, all of the alumni of Future 50 are invited to all of the events. So once Future 50, always Future 50. And this is for really fast growing, very, very high value tech companies who have raised Series B or higher, or of the 20 million kind of mark, or if bootstrapped at least 5 million, with growth rate of 50% year on year for at least the last 2 years. But even though it says there those massive numbers, that's actually the minimum, and the companies that have been getting onto the Future 50 program, like you saw on the first slide, the likes of Deliveroo, Just Eat, Revolut, you're looking at these big numbers, And so anyone knows of any of those companies other than Gymshark, know about them in the Midlands, please give me a shout, because it would be great to get some traction on that. And just real quick plug, that report that I mentioned earlier, Unlocking Global Tech, check it out on the website. It's quite an easy read if you've got a bit of time. But 8th September next week, London Tech Week, we're actually doing round the world in, I think it's 8 hours. You don't have to go to all of it, but it's an event. We are literally going to go around the world in all the different time zones, speaking to some really big successful businesses, all about what it's like to have a business or to expand your business into those countries. So if you are looking to do that in the next year or so, definitely get on board on that. And it's still open for applications. I think we've got, like, I'm going to say in excess of 3,000 sign-ups so far. So yeah, should be really, really good. And that's me. So thank you for listening. You can get me at naomi@technation.io, and my TechNation Midlands Twitter account. I try and promote as many events and things that are happening within the Midlands as much as I can. So if you follow that, you'll see all the things that are coming up. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Naomi. Any questions for Naomi?
Explained it all.
Oh, I can silence. You explained it all. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll just finish off what I was just going to quickly spend 2 minutes explaining before we wrap up. If you do have any questions for Naomi, if you want to type them whilst I'm talking, then that would be perfect. I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Okay, so we're coming pretty much towards the end now, guys. I'd like to thank you all for coming today to the first of what we've called our Startup Help Desk series. We've got a few different things on over the next couple of months. Got a really interesting talk by Christian Buch from NYU at the end of the month. We've got a session focused on accountancy for startups and entrepreneurs. Some really important stuff in that session in terms of how you deal with reporting with HMRC and VAT, and what you can claim as expenses as an entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of October, we've got a really interesting session called Exploring Latin American Entrepreneurship. So we've got some speakers from these countries listed: Mexico, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Brazil, and Guatemala. Several of the founders on our current accelerator program, one of our mentors, and the largest VC fund in Guatemala. So just before we wrap up, I just want to let you know about a couple of opportunities that we've got that are open for people to apply to at the moment. So the first is our Skills for Tomorrow program. So Skills for Tomorrow is a 4-week-long program for individuals aged between 18 to 30 who may have had their career prospects affected in any way by COVID. So it may be that you're furloughed, or you're looking just to improve your skills, to really future-proof your skills in the current climate and over the next few years. So what we do is we take you on 4 weeks of training to develop entrepreneurial skills, whether that is to use them in a workplace or to set up a business or whatever it is you want to do. We want to equip you with the skills to make that happen. As you see on the side, there are 3 cohorts coming up over the next couple of months. Deadline dates for making sure you've got your name down, and the start dates. All of these opportunities can be accessed by going to Birmingham Enterprise Community.co.uk, clicking on the relevant tab for the program and dropping your details in. The other program we're currently running on a monthly basis is our Startup Sprint program. So this is another month-long program, but specifically designed for people who are either about to start a business or have recently started a business, that want to go through kind of all the fundamentals of what you need to have in place in terms of understanding your customers, what finances and legal things you need to look at, building the right business model, and building the first version of your product or service offering. Again, deadlines and start dates for those programs there. This program is really jam-packed with workshops, mentoring opportunities, and a whole load of other resources. And then the final thing is we will be recruiting for our third cohort of our Forward Accelerator program. The applications for this will open on the 1st of October. They will stay open for a month, and then we will do selections for a program that will start in January 2021. We are currently looking for businesses from anywhere in the world who are considered as high growth scaling businesses. So if you think that you match this criteria, come and have a look. Get on the website and look. We currently have businesses from everything from aerospace through to food and drink. Any business can apply, any type of business can apply from anywhere in the world. And that is it from me. I'm just going to check if there's any questions just before we let everyone go. Okay, so Naomi's answered that one. Any other questions at all before we go? I'm sure the speakers are going to stay around for the next kind of 5 minutes if there is anything. If not, thank you again very much for coming. The live recording will be up on our YouTube channel, so if you want to watch any bits back, or there was bits that you kind of missed that you want to catch up on, jump over to YouTube, search Birmingham Enterprise Community, and you will find the video up on there. And have a good rest of the day, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you.
Check over on YouTube. Okay.